Have you ever tried to figure out if that quiet person you know is actually interested in you? Well, today, we're going to dive into the super subtle and honestly, often misunderstood romantic signals of a very specific personality type, the restrained introvert. Let's decode their language together.
It's a classic situation, right? You're trying to get a read on someone, but their signals are, well, they're so quiet, so low-key, that you start to wonder if they're even there at all. You ask yourself, am I just seeing what I want to see, or is there really something brewing just under the surface?
Okay, so here's the key. We have to completely reframe how we're looking at this. It's not about a lack of signals. It's about learning an entirely different language. Yeah, it's a quiet one for sure, but trust me, it speaks volumes once you finally know how to listen.
So who exactly are we talking about here? Well, we're looking at a personality type known as the restrained introvert. These are not your spontaneous life-of-the-party types. Nope. They are thoughtful, they're deliberate, and, this is the most important part, they find a deep sense of comfort and stability in their routine.
And you know, this is exactly where they get so easily misunderstood. It's easy to see their quiet nature and just label them as shy, or maybe even aloof and uninterested. But that's not what's happening at all. In reality, they're incredibly observant and very intentional with their energy. That routine they have, it's not a cage, it's their foundation. It's what gives them comfort and stability. So how in the world do we find the evidence of a crush? It all comes down to looking for two and only two really crucial clues. And these aren't going to be loud declarations. They're subtle but incredibly powerful actions that actually go against their core nature. Let's get right into the first clue. And I'm telling you, this one is probably the single most powerful signal you can possibly get from them. This is huge. Remember what we just said? Their routine is their safe space, their comfort zone. So if a restrained introvert willingly, deliberately disrupts that predictable pattern, like skipping their usual quiet night in to go to some loud event with you, or changing their lunch plans on a whim just on the off chance they'll see you, that is not a small thing. Just let that sink in for a second. This is so much more than a casual change of plans. When they break that routine for you, what they're really communicating is that connecting with you is more important to them than their own stability and comfort. In its own quiet way, that action is basically screaming, "You matter to me." Now, that first clue about breaking their routine, it leads us perfectly into the second clue, which is all about building a foundation of trust. Okay, I know this one might sound a little strange at first. Honest feedback? How is that romantic? Well, for a restrained introvert, someone who prefers to observe and is slow to act, offering you a genuine opinion is a massive act of vulnerability. They are intentionally stepping out from behind their wall of observation to connect with you on a much deeper, more personal level. I mean, think about the process they go through. First, they have to watch you closely, really analyze the situation. Then they have to take a big risk. I mean, giving feedback could lead to conflict or rejection, two things they usually try to avoid at all costs. And finally, after all that, they offer you something truly valuable, their genuine insight. That's not just a comment, that is a deep investment in you. All right, so we have our two main clues, a broken routine and honest feedback. Now, let's put it all together so we can finally crack this code and see the big picture. And this right here, this is the most important insight of all. To an outsider, someone changing their lunch plan seems like no big deal, right? A super low-effort gesture. But for the restrained introvert, the actual significance of that action is completely off the charts. This is the code we're cracking. It's that huge gap between what their actions look like on the surface and what they truly, deeply mean. So really, it all just boils down to this. When you see them break their routine, the hidden message is, I am prioritizing you over my own personal comfort. And when they offer you that honest, constructive feedback, what they're really saying is, I trust you enough to be vulnerable with you. Those are the keys to the whole thing. So the next time you're trying to read that quiet person in your life, you've got the decoder ring. You're not looking for the big, loud, obvious gestures anymore. Instead, you're looking for the quiet earthquake of a broken routine and the incredible trust hiding behind a simple, honest opinion. Now that you know, what are you going to notice that you never saw before?